Who else is excited to get General Leo?
I know I am.
Hey everyone. Oh wait, hold on. Oh, it's not gone yet. There we go. That works. So, I know what you guys are thinking. That's right. Absolutely nothing. Just like myself. And that's why I'm here, to give you something to think about. So we're going to dive into the history as to why General Leo is so important to people. If you were a kid growing up in the 90s, you can understand why General Leo is so important. A game with great storytelling, amazing battles, sometimes comical, tear-jerking scenes, and awesome characters. It's not hard to figure out why people love the game so much. When you finally meet Leo for the first time, you're just thinking, wow, I want to have that dude in my party. Then later on you play with him for about 5 minutes, and then he dies. Only to have that feeling stripped away from you in an instant. This unsurprisingly sparked rumors about his revival, and ever since then, people have been trying to find a way to actually do it. So the first thing you need to know is you can't get General Leo through normal means of play. So, I've come up with a solution. We will revive him through necromancy. That's not true. We obviously can't get General Leo through necromancy, we can't get him through normal means, so we're gonna have to go to a convoluted glitch. There's actually more to this glitch that you should know so you can get a better understanding of what you're actually doing. So there's actually 2 guest character slots in the game. So our first guest slot has Wedge, Bannon, and Leo in it. The second guest slot has Biggs, Emperor Gestal, Kefka, and maybe Madoon. Madoon could be in either one. I'm not really sure. And the next thing we should touch down on is the condition of your airship. Your airship seems to have 4 different states to it. 1, you don't have the airship but you're on the ground. 2, you have the airship but you're also on the ground. 3, you have the airship and you're in the airship. And 4, you have the airship but you're also in the floating continent. So I'm going to keep things simple for you guys. Keep everything labeled 1 to 4. And whether they're accurate or not, I don't know, but for the most part that's the best way for me to understand it, so I'm hoping that you understand it just as well as me. I'm going to do the best I can to explain it to you guys, and hopefully you can follow along. So to start off, we're just going to play normal until we get control of Edgar. This part of the game is directly following gaining control of Edgar. When you finish this scene with Kefka and his men, go outside and save it. This is going to be the last time you save until about halfway through the game. See, now I know what you're thinking. But I got something for that. It's called value. There are several ways you can level up to make your trek a lot easier. You're actually going to want Locke and Edgar to be a higher level, because later on, after you perform the glitch, you're going to be playing with them mainly. So I suggest that you have 16 to 20 for Edgar, because he's going to be by himself for quite a long time. And even then, even level 20 is kind of pushing it. I actually had Locke and Edgar around level 20, and even at that level, it's pretty difficult. But I can resolve that later on. The first place you're able to level up at is the Elite River. Get to this point and keep choosing up. The best part about this is it's the default option. Have your cursor set to memory and have Bannon heal, Terra and Sabin attack, and Edgar uses his auto buff. You'll want a turbo controller to do this if you want to do it while you're not around. Later on, you could also level up in the Esper Cave on dragon zombies and these Roginoias? They give quite a bit of experience and will be far faster than Elite River. You can kill these guys really easy by using Rays or Phoenix Downs on them. Once you get to Thamasa, you should grab some of these rods in the weapon shop. They do a ton of damage and it'll help you obsolete most of the battles. So this is the part just before the glitch happens, when we're fighting all these battles before the floating continent. So this is actually the interesting part. So you would think that we are considered on the airship, but believe it or not, this is actually just a separate map. If you try to work the mechanisms, it obviously doesn't work. So as far as the game's concerned, we're not in the airship, we're actually on the ground. So this is actually going to be relevant once we start the glitch, and I'll explain it to you and explain why. Once you get through the floating continent, jump off into your airship. Make sure to take control of the airship before re-entering the floating continent. This is to make the game know that you're in the airship again, so that way it can change its value to being on the continent itself. Once you get back on the continent, die. Don't you love the irony? We actually have to die to resurrect the Leo. So essentially, we're doing a sacrifice. We're actually doing some Full Metal Alchemist stuff right here, except we didn't fail. Once you die, you go back to where you last saved. If you remember, we saved when we first got Edgar. The only place you want to land is on the continent with ZOZO. It's best to land up here because you can get the Hero's Ring, and there's a Chocobo station in the woods nearby. You can actually land this airship anywhere you want. But the thing is, ZOZO is the only place that's not going to soft lock your game. And if you're wondering what soft lock means, it means you just can't progress through the game. You can still play, but you just can't go anywhere. So you'll notice that the airship disappears once we land. So for lack of a better explanation, I came up with the 1 through 4 scenario with the airship. It's just a better way to explain why the airship disappears. Now, I don't actually know if this is how it works, but it seems to work that way. So when you die, everything except for your levels reverts back to what it was at that time. So the guest character slot, for instance, goes back to Bannon. The airship is considered you not having it, but you're also on the ground. So what the code seems to actually do is to check if you're going back to the airship first, rather than checking what happened during that save at that point. So it checks for that, you're in the airship, and then it checks if you actually have the airship and considers yourself on the ground. That's why our airship disappears. And since we finished the glitch, the best part about dying is you can actually save again. These slam dancers are the main reason we leveled up. If her spells hits a single character, even around level 20, you can easily die. When you finish ZOZO, you're going to meet up with the Moogles you fought alongside while saving Terra earlier in the game. Even though this looks like Sabin and has his name, this isn't actually Sabin. When you name a character, a Moogle takes on their sprite and their name, but nothing else changes, so they're pretty much useless. Once you leave ZOZO, you're going to have some Espers to use, and I highly recommend that you learn at least some curing spells. I also recommend you get some damaging spells like Fire and Thunder for Locke, because otherwise this is going to be near impossible to do. Since this battle is extremely hard with 2 characters, the best way to finish this is to attack Ifrit with 5 damaging attacks, and run in between the shift to Shiva. Healing him won't work, so don't use a Flame Saber or a Thunder Saber. Once you hit for the 5th time, make sure to buffer your run to make sure you leave the fight. Continue through the main scenario until you gain control of your airship again. Change your party to Terra, Locke, and Edgar, land somewhere around here, get some sprint shoes, and go through the main scenario again. Once you get to the split scenarios, make sure to do Sabin's scenario first, and then do Locke's. The glitch otherwise will not work. Once you get to Locke's scenario, when this guard is moving, if you enter the menu and move towards him as he's moving to the tile just above you, you'll clip through and you can get to Celeste. When you get outside, go to your airship and head towards Narshe to start the Esper scenario. When you finish the cutscene, we aren't actually going to follow through and talk to the Espers. Instead, we need to head up the mountain and start the WoR. The reason we are doing this is to remove an event trigger for later on in the glitch. After the WoR, go over to Figaro Castle and start up the scenario again. You can have whoever you want in the party except for Sabin. You also need to have an empty slot, and you need Edgar to be leading the party. Having Sabin in the party or Edgar not as the lead will lock the game. To ensure nothing goes wrong, take Locke with you. Once the scene is done, leave and head to the Espers to talk to them. You also need to make sure that you took at least one other character with you so she has someone to talk to. Otherwise, she'll have a seizure and leave. So once you finish this scenario in Narshe, make sure not to leave, because this scenario happens to take precedence over another 2. One of them is where the guards kick you out because you're Terra and you're the Magitech writing bitch, and then the other one is when Bannon actually has some dialogue there, so it actually soft locks the game, or actually hard locks I guess, or try to use the side passage, because if you use the side passage you also need Bannon for that. Once you regain control of your airship and get Terra, land in this area with only Terra in your party. Finish out the rest of the scenario we've been skipping around. This will force the game back into the world of balance. When the scene is finished, head northwest of the castle to find your airship. You can either land it in front of this cave or near Narshe. Either way you're walking. After you beat the machine, which is the end of Locke's scenario, you'll go back to the split scenario screen. When you start up the scenario, our ritual will have succeeded, and now we have our Chimera. General Leo. Once you exit the river, head back to your airship and fly to South Figaro. Make absolutely sure you land here or somewhere to the right of this spot. Go into South Figaro and take the ship to Nicaea. Once you take the ship back to South Figaro, you can find your airship to the southwest. And that's it! Now you got General Leo. Now the only things Leo can't do is be changed out for other party members, either through the airship or through other scenarios throughout the game. You also can't use him in the Coliseum either. He does a negligible amount of damage and then the game freezes. I actually had somebody tell me that in the version of the game he was playing, that you can actually have Leo stay in your party even if you change party members. The way you're supposed to do this is to put Leo in the leader's position, and when you change, he stays in your party, that spot stays blank in the menu, but in battle he actually is there. Then again, he also said that he was doing this with Bannon, so I can't really say if it would work with Leo or not. I don't know what version he was using, but in the version I'm using, it doesn't work. So you guys can give it a try on your version, see if it works, and if it does, Let me know what version you used. Alright guys, I hope you really liked this video. And if you did, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell. When you hit that bell, it'll notify you whenever I've uploaded a video. And it makes sure that you actually see my video in your subscription feed. And if you really like this video, go ahead and like and follow me on Twitter and Facebook. And if you really want to help out this channel, go ahead and share the video. And I'll see you guys in the next one.